All right, Fitz and the Tantrums, live from the Blue Cross Blue Shield Performance Stage here on 93XRT.com. Noel, Fitz, Joe, let's hear it. So, Joe and I, we were just talking a few minutes ago about the challenges of singing nightly on the road and what it can do to your voice. But what about whistling? Like, how do you whistle on demand, man?
Oh, well, when you're in the desert, it's a lot harder, I'll tell you that. Practice makes perfect, I'll just say that.
Yeah. Well,
you're seeing us, we've trained our whistle at this point.
It's coming along well, I must say. And that song is on your new album, More Than Just a Dream.
That's actually the new single off the new record.
Yeah, More Than Just a Dream. That's a great title because it kind of sets where you are at this point. You know, maybe looking back and looking forward, that Fitz and the Tantrums, the band and everything, maybe it was a dream at the beginning, but it's becoming so much bigger.
Yeah, and what I like, our drummer, he actually has his own take on it, which is like, you can have dreams, but it's going to take a lot more than just a dream. It's going to take an enormous amount of hard work to also achieve your goals, you know. And for us, you know, it's a lyric from Out of My League, and I think it sums up so much about our path. You know, we were truly like the little band that could. We just worked our butts off, and feel very fortunate that we've had the success we've had. Yeah,
well, you guys have worked really hard, for sure. You know, like I was saying in the intro, when you drove through the snowstorm to get here to Chicago, I mean, you could have just said, oh, we can't make it. But you didn't. You kept going, and you've been doing that. I mean, you toured that Picking Up the Pieces record for, what, like 3 years nonstop?
During Snowmageddon. I'm not even joking.
Yeah. But you did. You toured that for so many years, you know, and I think that's sort of, isn't that like how the band came together? Because originally, you had some songs, Fitz, and you needed someone to play behind you so you could do a gig or two, and it came together so organically like that, you know, and it's the relationship between everyone in the band on that tour. Is that when the band really came together during that time?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty serendipitous. I mean, you know, getting the phone calls, walking into for me, I have to speak for myself, like walking into the room and being familiar with the people that were in it, with the exception of Fitz, and then to be singing with this guy and have it gel so instantly, you know, that's a rarity to find. It's really hard to keep a band together, you know, and to have the same players that you've had from the beginning is also very rare. So you know that there's something magical there. And all of the opportunities that we have gotten, you know, we worked our butts off, but there were a lot of people on the way that were so willing to help us and, like, you know, take a chance on us. Everyone in radio that helped us out, and, you know, from our management wanting to jump on because they saw the spark in us, and, you know, they worked hard for us from the beginning as well. That's a rare finding, you know, to happen for a band that's only been together as long as we have.
Yeah, you're finding yourself playing on larger stages too, but you have done that from the beginning because you had opening gigs, you know, with people like Maroon 5, and then this year you're touring with Bruno Mars, playing large places. But you've always brought a party to the places where you play. Metro, man, you just turned that into a giant dance club so many times, and Double Door earlier this year. When you're playing those larger stages, how is that? Is there a disconnect between the audience and yourself, or how do you bring that party to a large venue?
It's just, you know, I mean, I think what we've approached is we play every show like it's a stadium or a big festival show, even if we're playing in front of like 20, 30, 100 people. We've always tried to have the energy go way beyond the walls of whatever the venue is. And that actually served us really well, because our first true festival gig was actually here at Lollapalooza. It was still very early days, and they somehow thought we should be on the main stage, which we were just totally blown away by, but totally nerve-wracked. It was early, and we went out on stage, and there was like 20, 30,000 people there waiting to see us, and we just had already trained ourselves to sort of have that energy, so it was pretty seamless. The stage was just bigger, and you just found yourself getting more out of breath trying to go from one end of the stage to the other, but we managed.
Yeah, well, with the new record, you know, it seems to be much more diverse, like because the band has been together for a while, everyone had a part in putting this record together. You have a lot of different musical backgrounds. Is that how this came together and why it has that kind of diverse and eclectic sound?
Yeah, well, and I think, you know, for us, I think we all felt that if we just made Picking Up the Pieces Part 2, that would have been the easiest, safest path, and what a lot of people were expecting us to do. But we have influenced each other so much over the last 5 years or 4.5 years of touring and just being a band together. And I think we wanted to, take a lot of chances and really expand on what the sound of Fitz and the Tantrums is. And, we always saw that first record as a cross-genre record, but on a more subtle level, there was 80s Britpop bands that were being influenced by the soul music period, as well as drawing directly from Motown and Stax. But there was a little indie rock, there was a little hip-hop. It was just all mixed in, but on a subtle level. And I think on this one, we just got, a little bit tired of people just being like retro, throwback. Like it was almost like, oh, you're only successful because you're doing this sort of niche thing. And I think that we really wanted to challenge ourselves and make a truly cross-genre record that still had an organic feel to it.
Oh, sure. And whatever you guys do, it's going to be soulful, because that's sort of the basis of what you do.
Well, and
it's in our blood.
Yeah, and that's what I think we also had to remember, that if we're singing it, that's the primary identity of the band. So long as Noelle is doing her thing and I'm doing my thing, then it's still, that's like one of the major through lines that's going to connect the records.
And then the great players on the record too.
Of course.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, you said that wherever you play, it's a stadium. So, welcome to the Blue Cross Blue Shield Arena here today. And if you could play a few more songs for us, that would be awesome. Thanks.